Okay, let's just look at the page 38. I mean, first have a little, very short revision. Okay. We should be starting the page 38, but we can just start the page 32 again. So the text, because we have, I think, two people just for the first time are here. So the text we are reading is called the Satipat Sutta, and then we have done the Chinese version, and then now we're doing the Pali version. And of course, the word Satipatthana, Satipatthana or Sati means mindfulness. Patthana means place, or means basically means the foundation as well. Okay. So Sutta means the text, okay, or mean the discourse. Anyway, so it is a very popular text, and even let's say in the history in Sri Lanka as well. It's like when there was a decline Buddhism in Sri Lanka. So one of the layperson actually he had the chance during the British colony. So and then he learned this Pali in the prison. So the first Pali he read the text is the Satipatthana Sutta. That means the foundation of mindfulness. So after he read the text, he was so inspired, and he thought, no, he should be revive the Buddhism. That's the reason why. And then he became a seminary, and then he went to Thailand to take this like a fully ordination, and that's why they started a new school in Sri Lanka. Anyway, I want to say that it's one of the very, certainly if you're reading Pali or you are studying the Pali Buddhism, the Buddhism in Pali language, so it's definitely this one of the texts you have to know the name. Don't say, oh, I never heard about Satipatthana Sutta. Then you definitely fail your examination, okay? It's impossible, okay? Okay, and the discourse of the foundation of mindfulness is very important. Of course, according to the text, it's when you look at the content, because it said that this is the one of the paths, it's a direct path, for someone can be purified beings, and will lead you to attain the Nibbana. And then also will lead you to even realizing the sainthood, like that. That's why it's become very important. And then the content of it, there are four Satipatthana, means there are four mindfulness. There are four foundations of mindfulness to be established. So the first one will be established, the mindfulness of the body, and the other is the feelings, and the next one will be this mind, and the last one will be the Dharma, okay? So we have done the first few, because the first one is that the contemplation of the body. And then under the contemplation of the body, the first one, according to this text, so you need to practice the mindfulness of breathing, okay? But you have to understand why you have to practice the mindfulness of breathing. Of course, it's at least if it's based on the text, forget about the history, but just based on the text, because the breath is also the product of the body, okay, a production of the body, okay. And of course, in many other places also always praise that when you practice the mindfulness of breathing, your mind can be really can be serene, and calm down. And of course, then it's also one of the very easy way for people who practice the jhana. Okay. And here it mentioned there are four steps. Okay, for the breath. I mean, first, of course, you have. Usually we take that as a four steps: the short breath, the long breath. I think it starts with the long breath. Sorry, the long breath, the short breath, and then the whole breath, and then come in the breath, tranquilly in the breath. Okay. And then it's very important also in every what I call as an element of practices with regard to the contemplation of the body. So always have this. They said that he advised contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, and also practice with regard to the body externally. Okay, and interchangeable internally and externally. And even also, he also contemplated the body in observing the arising of the phenomena, and he also advised contemplating the body in observing the cessation of the phenomena, and also contemplating, I think it's arising and ceasing, am I right? Yeah, arising and ceasing of the, or apparition or ceasing of the phenomena. So and then he will mindfulness that he know this is called the body. This is body. So it's really present in him. So and then he also then he will abide independently. In other words, mean he become the commentary always so-called independently mean he can be out of the sorrow. So and not clinging to anything in the world. Then in other words mean not that he will be not in any sorrow, but he will be cast away the craving. So so it's you know in the Buddhist main teachings. So we know that we have to get rid of our defilements, of course, but then there's so many different systems saying how many defilements we have, and how we can abandon defilements. But if we based on the sutta, whatever kind of defilements, the main thing is that we need to know that the practice should be able to lead you to be cut off your sorrow, okay, your lamentation, your anxiety, and so on. And also, it's very important that cut off your craving. Okay, that's what we call the tanha, your attachment. Okay, so that's why in every element of the practice, it always follow with this saying that he abides independently, not clinging to anything in the world. Okay, so I mean, say for practical reasons. So that's why the people when they observing the in breath, out breath, observing the short breath, the long breath, observing the whole breath, observing this, the calming the breath. So if you serve the same purpose. So, and also, either, not only that, he also will, I mean, because for the, especially for the insight, like vipassana, I mean, insight's sake, the practice of insight. So you're also observing the arising, the ceasing, and observing this arising and ceasing of the Dharma, or let's say the breath. And then you, or either you know, you don't take the body, so-called the body here, the kaya, the word body, you don't take the body as my flesh, for example, or like this me, I, you know, you take the breath, that means, oh, that's the body. But while you're practicing. So that's why you know this is called the body, okay? The breath is the body. Or anyway, it's only if you can practice in this, if you can present this kind of mindfulness on this object and have this kind of realization, and then someone, or he here say, he will abide independently, not clinging to anything in the world. So that's that is one. I mean, this is how I read it anyway. So it means even observing the breath itself, it helps you. You know, maybe not thoroughly for everything, not deep enough, but however that's helping you already. That you can stay with your mind without sorrow. And then you can be, you know, at least while you're practicing, understanding the breath itself, in whatever way prescribed in the text, but that's you are actually cast away the clinging already. Okay. And then the same thing for the four postures. We discussed that already. You know, it's why you're walking, you know very well you're walking. While you're sitting, you know very well you're sitting. In other words, you could say it this way, whatever posture you have, you know presently, you know right now, right away, what you are doing, okay? That also serves the same purpose. By the way, I forget to talk about the internal and external. So there are so many different discussions about internal and external, but then I also like one of the saying, you know, that sometimes external, or even though there are so many explanations, commentary and general external, normally external refer to other persons. It looks like sometimes when you practice, we might not able to like, you know, for example, practice on mindfulness of breath, you might not able to observe the other person's breath. This is literally we think. But I think one argument is important to understand why we do the external. So, for example, let's say if somebody you care or somebody you know, so for example, that's just an example, like your parents or person you know very well. So when the person have the sorrow, you could feel it also, like that, I guess. So And then and also the external person, actually, when the person can do very well, it also inspire you as well. I mean, I want to say that it means, even though it might not sound directly for your practice at the moment, so external actually is giving you a way also, not just because you know how yourself, while you're practicing, how the phenomena can help in you. I mean, basically can help you to be independently or stay with, without clinging to the world, but also by observing the other, it will help you it will serve the same purpose. Okay. But for some other school technique, you definitely have to meditate on the other, because I believe when you have a strong jhana, you definitely could hear their breath, you could feel the breath. And but of course that's arguable nowadays. It's like, do you have even some people don't practice strong jhana. They have a strong jhana. Of course, they don't know whether it's true that you really could feel the other or not. Anyway, that's another question. That's the reason why you have so many explanation about what does internal external mean. Okay. Okay, and then the third one is the full awareness. We discussed a whole class that last time. So because of full awareness, it's basically is about someone who fully know the purpose why they're doing this, and in what kind of situation or what kind of occasion, whether he should still carry this meditation subject or not. And at the same time also, it's discussed about when you even carry such a meditation you've been prescribed to practice, and then whether it's appropriate, basically whether it's appropriate for that kind of occasion. And then and the last thing also, even though the meditation technique was being prescribed for you, so what is the main purpose of that? It has to be know that the purpose is always lead you to be develop your wisdom. Basically, it should become a vipassana. In other words, mean the insight meditation, like that. So that is basically, even when you're going out, when you're returning, when you are bending your body and everything, that you still have to kind of like you still have to practice your meditation. Maybe put it in a simple words. Those were discussed last time. So that's called the full awareness. Basically, that's a very unique thing, because in other language, even though this full awareness or so-called clear comprehension, it's been discussed, but it's always not too clear. But at least in the Pali, it looks like they took a lot of time to discuss this issue. Okay? Because in some other passage in the early Buddhist text, the clear comprehension, or called the full awareness, certainly is clear that the full awareness is directly to do with the insight meditation, because in one of the Samyutta Nikaya mentioned that is something that you need to practice so that you will develop the wisdom. So, so there's just a lie like that. Everybody knows this, but it's just in the content. So I guess if you're not in the class, so you may try to listen to the last class. Okay, so I think the whole class will only discuss this topic. All right, now we back to this page 36 that I think. Oh no, we also finished this one. Paying attention to impurity. So after when you meditate and then you in every section is the same. So with the section, like you're bending your body, you're reclining, you're walking, you're going down, you're going back. So you should still see the arising, the Dhamma and the seasonal Dhamma. Maybe you have a question about that. How can you see the arising Dhamma and seasonal Dhamma? My understanding is that besides your meditation technique may be changing, that is also a way you could see the arising Dhamma and seasonal Dhamma, because you change the subject to another subject, meditation, or maybe you change your stage of meditation from this stage to another stage. And even the way of going out when you're coming back itself, it's also arising and ceasing, because when you're moving your body, sitting, standing, stretching your arms, it's also there's a changing, So in other words, if you take this arising and ceasing and arising and ceasing as an interchangeable thing for observe the phenomena, so anything can be real phenomena. So as far as you have this wisdom, that means this kind of mindfulness are there. And then just observe with your mindfulness, very clear mindfulness or clear comprehension, and with a very good mindfulness. So then I guess it's also with the kind of knowledge. That's what I believe. And with the kind of knowledge, that means the kind of understanding. Then you can observe everything with impermanence, kind of like arising and ceasing of the Dharma. Okay, like you stretch your body, or even while you are sitting, and then you change your posture to standing, and then while you are standing, you change your posture to walking. Those are still arising and ceasing. Arising of the standing posture, and then while you're going to start to walk, and then you cease of the standing posture, then arising of the walking, right? Like that. Understand? Did I speak too much? Get confused now? Okay. So it's also kind of like, when you look at this scheme, it starts like the practice for the breath is really like very simple. And then you start to move on to pay more attention on your postures and the very rudiment or fundamental postures, like sitting. You have to know clearly you're sitting, and then you change, you're standing. At first, you just know you're sitting. You have to know why you're sitting, Because some people, they don't know. Because when their awareness is not on the present, while they're sitting, they're thinking other people. Sometimes even they don't even know what the people are doing, right? Because their minds get confused, right? But if the people have the very clear mind or mindfulness, so of course you know the people are sitting. Like a teacher, if they're very clear, I know that you're not sitting now, you're sitting, or like that, for example, right? So like that is kind of like more, it looks more like you observe something more static, right? People are sitting or either they're walking, kind of like a period of time, they're a static period of time. But with that also, according to a certain text mentioned, so sometimes when you, especially when you practice up to the Dhamma, anyway, there's a very later section. So when you observe the persons also, you could always observe the impermanence, because people cannot sit their whole life, they will stand. And then the people will stand, and then they will start to lie. And they're lying and they're walking, and all these postures changing all the time. So that is also one way of observing this impermanence. Of course, people normally are not observing this impermanence. According to Buddhism, you have to observe that as arising and ceasing, and then arising and ceasing. But normal people were observing, why these people want to walk? Or maybe you're thinking something else. Oh, he looked very nice, right? Oh, she have a beautiful dress, like that, right? Those are with the clinging, with this obsessed, with obsessed, basically with the lust, with, all what we call the defilements. But if you're just observing, you see, that's standing, walking, and then walking back, forward, back is still changing, right? Sitting, if you are not very powerful, you cannot see it change, but then it will stand again. And even if sit, it might move, right? So like that. So you can see that at least that's how the Buddhist philosophy is about. That you see that actually the posture itself always change a person, change the posture. Yes?
Question, how do we see impermanence?
Yeah.
You are looking at a wave, right? So if your wave just goes on, but then you any point of time it changes. But the pattern of the wave is always the same.
No, the Buddhism is never be the same. The same thing like when you look at the river, right? The river, you thought the river the same. Actually, you surely know the river. You never can step in the same river, at the same. No, it's no.
That's a Greek expression.
So no, and yes.
So the awareness itself is the awareness of the change is the Dharma part, because as you mentioned, someone is walking and it's not conscious. They just notice maybe person's outfit or dress or something, but the awareness of the change itself is the Dharma.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yes, yeah. So, and then even there you look at the third part, it seems very clear. It's asked out. It's kind of like progressively, and then we move on to practice this the mindfulness or foundation of mindfulness, not only just about the postures, I mean like a fundamental or the basic postures, But it's also even about when people going out and coming back. Okay. And yeah, let's say even ourselves, let's say I go out, like from this temple of enlightenment, come here. So I change constantly already, right? Up to here. So this is, and then so if you look at clearly, or like a microscopic way of, really, of course you must have this kind of focus and then awareness. When the awareness is developed so clear, and with the wisdom, that's the reason why we back to this the clear comprehension. When these two things, like almost like combine together or stay together, and then you could see that even when the moment when I, let's say, give the time period like I left the temple of enlightenment, so that I have the arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, right? But we normally don't, if people are not with this kind of meditative mind or without a good direction to them, they don't see this way, right? They don't see this way. Anyway, accordingly, it's the Satipatthana means they say it very clearly, you definitely have to try to see the arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, arising. That's one of the very important, yeah. So in other words, to see the anicca, to see the impermanence, yes.
So too is the same for the mind itself, that if a thought arises and it ceases and anger arises. And
that's it, also true. Mm-hmm.
That's the same idea when you develop as you...
Yeah, that would be then that's another difference. That would be, if you want to divide it, that would be in the category of the mind, right?
But it's also dharmic, it's also the dharma when you recognize.
It is, but now let's look at the text first. If you want to follow the text of the order of the text, so it just means that now every action, so you know it, and then if every action also you either perceive it, this is called the body. Okay, or either you understand, because we understand the body in the sense like my body, right? Here are kind of like direct you to understand the body in this way, okay? That means just going and coming back is the body. If you talk to people think you're crazy too, I guess.
Meaning there's no me, mind.
Yeah, no me, mind. Yeah, so and then that's the reason, or either this is called body, or either you understand there's a rising, there's a ceasing, there's a arising and ceasing, or it could be just practice internally or other people, right, externally. So let's say if I watch a person walk, you will look at the person, and I don't know whether you have this experience, when they practice meditation in a very deeper way, you don't see person. You don't see person because you see that's the reason why in any meditation I ask you not to talk to people. Because if you talk to people, you start to have this craving. Oh, that's her. I know her, right? And then you have idea. If I don't say hi, she hate me. Why you want that? Because if she hate me, then she will not give me any good thing to drink. She will not treat me well. This is all craving comes along, right?
It's personalizing.
Yeah, it's personalizing, right? But of course, if people don't understand, if I really just doing my meditation and I don't see the person, I don't know who is this, and she thought, oh, it's a rude monk, no. But it happened. But anyway, we forgot about that part. That's why when we learn text, that's the reason why you don't see a person. You just know a person maybe pass by. Not that you don't know there's something coming in front of you. Maybe the person wave a hand, say hi, Dhammadeva, right? So actually, if you really when your mind develop kind of something called what we call the Sutta Bojjhanga, means when you have these 7 factors of enlightenment with you. So when you have these 7 factors of enlightenment become a balance to you, when the people wave the hand, you don't see the wave hand, you only see changing. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a person. You only see changing. Even the people look the head, like you. I'm joking. And then you just see changing.
Well, the person, the minute you...
So this is, now just give me a second first. So that means you either know changing, either know this is, somehow it's a material. So, I mean, this is body, mean a material, you know what I'm saying? Okay? Yes?
Because it seems like sometimes within our bodies already is happening, but the minute you're born, you start dying too. So in a way, this rising and passing is kind of a dual sort of happening at the same time. It seems like it's not like it's separate rising and passing away, but it seems like it's constantly those two things are operating at the same time. It seems in some instances, like, do you know what I mean? If birth of a thought, birth something arises, there's definitely it's going to cease, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in every element, every moment, that's going to be true. Whether a child is born, then people will say, "Oh, baby's born, it's life," but we don't realize that the baby's dying at the same time as well. So it's kind of happening simultaneously. Like in our bodies right now, there's 250 million red blood cells dying and regenerating. So rising and passing is happening at the same time. It's not like rise and pass. Maybe the breath feels like that, but there are other elements that, I guess, this is kind of vipassana. You think about these things, contemplation. What do you think about that? I mean, to me, it seems like it's always the ceasing and rising is always together, is always there. It's always present. That's the vipassana part. That every single thing that rises is going to have to cease.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Depends on the.
No, this is what the text say, right? I mean, but you.
Although it appears to be like life.
But then at the same time, you must understand. But if that's that definitely you could check yourself, right? If you observe the things, like say any phenomena, when you observe any phenomena and you could see this arising and ceasing, or at least you would not notice it's a her or it's a she, it's
just the energy.
Yeah, you just seeing that the phenomena, right? Sorry. If you just see this thing, your mind would not have clinging. So I guess that's the main thing, you know. It's not because, okay, I see anicca, you see how good I am, like that. So definitely not. It's you just might no clinging. You just don't have clinging.
Because you see the truth.
And then that's why you say you live independently, right? In other words, I mean you don't have this kind of a sorrow. You just observe it. You just know, oh, why she didn't bring me a drink and why you don't have this kind of idea. The sorrow would not arise. I guess that's very important. We haven't come to a very later stage yet. Sorry. Okay. Get it now? I don't know whether that's... So, of course, I mean, important is that people might be just only thinking, even I in the past, I think that way. So, I have to only just see the arising and ceasing and the, what they call arising and ceasing, either internal or externally, or either sometimes internal, external, exchangeably, right? Because sometimes you meditate, you can observe yourself, and you can observe other. And you observe like interchangeable. But at the same time, at that time I forget there's one word is that sometimes, like I know, oh, this is how the breath is about, right? Oh, this is how, when you see the people are changing. Oh, this is how if you put in the words, that means the person are walking, right? Or this is how the walking. You are not seeing the walking as the person, that person is walking. You just see the arising and ceasing with the walking, right? So, like that, or maybe you just see the person standing. When the people have this, do not have this vision arise, he just see a person are standing, and the next time you see the person sitting, right? That's because when you're clinging, these people were standing there, looking at the birds. Now he's sitting there drinking coffee, right? So then you still have this person. Maybe in Chinese would mean 你着相,你有相. So you have. But if you see the person are standing, you know there's a standing, and then the person sitting. But I mean, the same. You kind of know it's the same person, right? So you only see the changing. Like it was standing, but now it's sitting. Okay. So there's still a difference. Do you know there's a minor difference? The difference is that you are not checking this person, what he's doing, kind of like. When you want to check the person, what he's doing, what happened with you? You have this craving, right? Like curiosity. Oh, he was doing this. He must be enjoying himself. That craving comes arise, right? But if you're only observing a person as standing, later he was sitting posture, and then later he was standing again, so you don't have. You get it now? So you just, the mind will just independently become and out of the last. And then you still know this is called the body. I mean, even someday you will just know this is a body, or standing, sitting, standing, sitting, standing, sitting. That actually is still is a Satipatthana. I want to say that. So sometimes when you meditate, so you only know this in breath, out breath, itself is also Satipatthana. You don't have to force yourself to always just see has to be impermanence, like arising and ceasing. Because here it mentioned that part. Because I have the doubt in the past when I practice, sometimes when you practice a certain time, and then you're kind of aware, like, I just know this is a body, this is this. Then I thought, oh, maybe my meditation had dropped because I realize this, I see this arising and ceasing, but now then I don't see arising and ceasing, but I only see this is what, that is what. Then I thought, oh, maybe I dropped my, you know what I'm saying, my meditation power maybe dropped, but actually it's not. You become very clear that you realize this is so-called the body, you could say material, and later you know, oh, this is how the mind is, oh, this is how the feelings is, like that. Okay, yes.
So the beginning part is with the breathing in and out and long and short. Is that for just to practice vipassana, or is that to calm?
Of course, that's certainly have many explanations about this. Some say from the very start you could do that as a vipassana, and some say that first 4 steps, even the mindfulness of breathing, like the text called Anapanasati, Anapanasati Sutta, right? The text on the mindfulness of breathing. So, and we have 16 steps there, and then some explain that the first as, anyway, even the Pali commentary agree, you could understand this 4, that means the 16 steps altogether, the steps of the breath, all are the vipassana. Anyone here don't understand the word vipassana? It means insight meditation, okay? 就是比婆舍那或者是观照哈。
And the elements too, are we supposed to see those as, not elements, I mean the impurities, are we supposed to see those as impermanent? I mean, are we supposed to see, you know, the 32 parts as rising and falling?
This is a very good argument, actually.
I'm not arguing.
No, I mean, the good argument here, I mean, no, sometimes the problem is in academic argument is mean discussion.
Okay, oh, yeah.
But of course, in normal language, argument is really like fighting, you know.
Yeah.
No. So, you know, when you do philosophy, argument is mean a good term.
Discussion.
So discussion, yeah. Yeah, this is a good thing. It's because it looks like when you look at this, the 32 parts of the organs, and then the 32 parts of organ, this is why certain traditions said, you see, when you look at the 32 parts of the organs, so like you know that you have a heart, you have a lung, you have a nail, you have the skin, you have the teeth, you have these poles, you have the hairs and all these sort of things. You have the fluids and different kind, about 12, kind of liquid kind of thing, you know, and mucus and all sort of, and also snot and all these sort of thing. So, and some argue that with that, how can you see the arising and ceasing of Dhamma? And that's the reason why in a certain school, and they put that as an argument point, that, you know, with that you might be, no, I have this organ. It looks disgusting, maybe. But we also know the purpose of practicing the 32 parts of organs is not up you to look disgusting. Actually, you have to be able, because you don't like a certain type of organs, it looks so ugly. Imagine when you meditate, you just kind of like visualize, or you really can see, or either because you visualize or you're just thinking about a snot, right? Oh, it's so disgusting, you know. And someday we might go with the hair too and all sort of thing. And but it doesn't serve the next sentence. The next sentence is a sentence discuss about that. It's the same way you have to see the arising and ceasing of the Dhamma. How? Right? So that's the reason why in a certain Abhidhamma system, according to Abhidhamma practice way, then you must have the very strong jhana. And with the strong jhana, then even the organ itself, you can kind of like look at the organs, and then you kind of like, with the strong jhana power, you could see the organs become so-called kalabas. That means the subtle matters. And then they call it kalabas. And the subtle matters, and then the subtle matters like a dust. And this kind of dust will be vibrating as well. So, and of course, they have much more complicated system. I just say simple way. So, and then when you see this dust, and then they have the dust normally, say the eyes as one, and then a certain part of the eyes that you could see the dust have the bright dust, and then there's a dim dust. And then you have to check on that. But at least you will see there's a vibration, basically. This is why they argue that, you know, why if it, everybody argue, I know, want to put their position according to the text, right? And then they would say, that's why, then that's only fit in with the text. Okay, understand what I'm saying? Okay, I don't know, yeah, okay. There's very, very complicated system called the Abhidhamma system. That's the reason why in Pali Abhidhamma they have mentioned about like the eyes, and then you have the eye kalabas, and eye kalabas, in each of the kalabas you have the 4 elements there, all right? And then even in each of these, one of these tiny dust, and then you also have the 10 kinds, I think 9 types of the nutrient. They have the kind of like nutrition is one of them, and then you also have 4 element nutrition. You have the taste, you have this what they call touching, so, and then the life. So you could feel that. So that's kind of, yeah, so. And then in each of these, when you break through it, and then you'll find they are just only arising and persistent,
really
like that.
All about trying to see all parts of the body as impermanent.
Yes, yes.
But also, this is also, I think, the 32 parts is also, look at impurities is also not to becoming something beautiful or cling to,
Right, it's
not
an
having an
antidote.
aversion, but
It's
to
an
have a
antidote
kind
to
of
sensual desire, but I don't think that's
dispassion.
really.
Yeah, but then the problem is this, but that's why I say, but the problem, some people could argue that even though it's true,
some people develop aversion.
but actually some people, even for scholarly studies, sometimes they think this passage is actually just a borrow from another text called this Kayati, the text about people who meditate on the body. So, you know, it's the famous text. So that's the reason why. And I just said is the one, but however, some of them would not take it this way. I mean, say the traditional would not take it because this is supposed to be understand. You cannot say this is the intersect later, right? It should be the original Buddha said it this way. And then the thing because it's clear, because every passage of here, later on, how do we explain that you could see the arising and ceasing of the Dhamma? You know, I mean, fit with the organs. Right.
With the organs, yes, but with.
Well, you do have a new stomach every 7 days. I mean, you do have, after 7 years, I mean, this whole body is renewed.
Maybe that's also another. Maybe you would develop a different technique. Say, you know,
I just use modern
when
science to
when you look at these organs, you see the organs also changing
but
color,
they knew somehow.
right?
They knew that it was changing. They knew that it was changing, refining.
This is not about new. This is accordingly is a practice that you really have to see it right there, and then you could have the
But this is actually
the insight comes to you. This is changing,
The body
right?
is actually happening.
So yeah, we know rationally it's happening. So I don't know, but that's why I'm saying that in Abhidhamma system, this is also one of the way they put their position. That so if you say that the organ is because Abhidhamma, even the organ has to be able to see through the organ, and then from the organs you have to be able to see the 4 elements and so on.
But is it also
So that's Abhidhamma. That's the reason why the Pali Abhidhamma is so complicated and so many things there and this and that. So
because also this is
yeah.
kind of the construction, but also because in the next line he kind of makes an analogy, kind of it's like grain of salt. So it's kind of also discernment that you have to discern, break down all the parts, so not to see everything as like, but be very, very discerning about all the separate organs. Like it's kind of also has to do with
That's why
discernment, right?
we're going through that now. Yeah.
Because it talks about then rice, you know, when there's rice, you open the sack, there's rice, there's beans, kidney beans, sesame. So it's kind of also using skillful discernment. It's
Yeah,
investigation.
So it's like I think the next one we didn't read it. Now we start to read this one. Shall we read together first? Okay. So on the page 38, I point C, paying attention to elements. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 again.
Again, because a bhikkhu views this very same body from our source of its position upward and from the ends.
Why so no sound?
Which one is, are we reading?
We're doing it again because
I point E.
Paying attention to elements?
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
again.
elements? Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 again. Again.
Because a bhikkhu views this very same body, however its position, however its posture, by way of the elements. In this body there is earth element, the water element, the fire element, the wind element. Just like a skilled butcher or his apprentice has slaughtered a cow and sat down at the crow's with it cut up into pieces. In the same way, a bhikkhu reviews the very same body, however its position, however its posture, by way of the elements. In this body there is earth element, the water element, the fire element, the wind element. In this way, he lies contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, not clinging anything in the world. This is how bhikkhu abides, contemplating the body with regards to the body.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So of course, here in this passage, it's discerning the 4 elements, but there are a few ways of explaining. But one way, it's clearly in the text, say that just like or sometimes just like there's a full of the bag, right? And then you have so many kind of like a wheat or rice there, so you could discern this is rice, this is wheat, and so on. So here it's say that then whenever the person position is about, and then you could analyze that person that with these kind of organs, the 32 parts of organs, and then you can separate the organs according to the maybe the characteristic of the elements. So say that the teeth is the earth element, okay, and then say that the tear or the urine is as the water element, and then what kind of thing is a fire element?
Temperature, body, heat, cold.
Yeah.
The temperature.
Yeah, and then what kind of thing it would be? These other elements is the
Air element.
air element.
This air.
Yeah.
Breathing.
Okay.
Movement.
So and this is basically that's one way. But another way of understanding the elements is that some other suggest that under the when you say the elements is that you know there's there's hardness is the earth element.
What?
Hardness. Heart.
Heart.
No.
Hot, temperature.
No, not hot.
Hard, hard. Earth element. Hard.
Okay, softness is the opposite word. Soft.
Oh,
the earth
hard.
element.
Hard.
The solid one and then the soft.
Hardness is the earth element.
And then those are like that is also because the earth element have this kind of characteristic of the weight. Okay, heavy. But of course, a heavy. Then when you talk heavy, you must also know something not heavy too, right? And then the pressure itself is the wind element, or the wind itself, of course, is the wind element. So when you feel the pressure, so say that you're walking and then you feel like there's something pushing you, that is also the wind element. So the swift like kind of like water. So but the fluidity as well as the something like when you feel this is what they call this like this
Cohesion.
cohesion is also this like a water element. And then when you discern this is which one we didn't say? Fire, the temperatures of fire. So actually even in each of the organ, so might be in each of the organ they have this kind of manifestation. I mean might be say the water, like urine. Urine maybe predominantly are the water element. However, if it without the heat there, they will not sustain the urine. They will collapse. The same thing if that without this, there's a so-called earth elements are there. So the water will not be no water basically, okay, because the water have a kind of weight there, and the same thing for the temperature, right, and something like that. So this is why actually in each of the organs also you could just perceive there are 4 elements.
Also, like
So,
with the breathing, if you're using the elements with just the breath, like the touch of the breath is the earth, and then the temperature of the breath is the moisture in the breath is the water, and then the temperature with the coolness is fire, and then the air is of course the actual.
The air or the moving.
The moving.
Ocean is also the air. Yeah. So this is so I mean I think it's almost serve like there's a direction for you, how you look at the so-called these elements or so-called these the body. Oh, this is the body. So it's because you're able to observe the things as for 4 elements. Okay.
Can I ask you a question? I thought cows were sacred in India. Was this Brahmanism or not the same thing as Hinduism? How can they butcher a cow? I thought that was,
I don't know.
To me, that sounds, I don't know, historically, I don't know when this cow sacredness comes in, but to me, it's like cow.
Maybe I think because a cow is a bigger one, it's more common. You can see people. Yeah, I mean there are still people slaughter cow.
Hindus don't eat.
Huh? Maybe you never know. Maybe it's a way to say cow is so holy, just like a person think his body is so holy, but still be slaughtered. Yeah, just example.
Yeah, but it's
So you want it changed to be the just like a skilled butcher or his apprentice has slaughtered a man. A man and sat down at the cross. Maybe that's much easier.
I'm just surprised to have that in the culture, because I know the Brahmins was, I thought it was interesting.
Okay, after that, seems like after we kind of know now how to contemplate the body, and then the last one. And usually suggest that it's a kind of like a visualization, because the main purpose, the next one is someone have to realize that actually someone have to die. And then, so even when you see other person die and be discarded, in those days would be discarded. So nowadays maybe cremated. Or even I remember when I was a child, because actually, this Saturday we have the ceremony. The same thing like in April we are also busy. The kids, the family have to gather together. That we have to worship, our ancestor in the tombs. We need to go to tomb, the grave.
Yeah.
We need to go to the tomb there and then to worship the ancestor. Usually we have to, because the grave are all put on the mountains, not very high mountain like hills. So for us it's like a excursion. For the kids, like walking, we can see a nice nature, and we have sweet to eat, and then we have to worship the ancestor. After that, they would deliver us a sweet, different kind of cakes, and in our family, of course, traditionally they will have a big pig. They will carry a pig, because we have a big family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have to must roast a big
Roasted
pig.
pig?
Yeah, and because that's believed to be a good way to honor the ancestor.
Are you saying sister?
It still exists,
Sister?
Ancestor.
Oh.
Not ancestor, ancestor. Okay. My pronunciation is getting worse. Let me. Ancestor.
I thought you were saying sister.
I'll have to bring somebody with a British accent to get you back.
Ancestor. So you realize that last time when she was here, I was better, right? Anyway, so the ancestors, and then, so that's what we did. I want to say that it's like, I remember sometimes we ask a question, well, what they are doing down there, right, when we are kids, because you worship the ancestor, they're the corpse down there, and you ask, sometimes you just ask for no reasons, just ask.
Is there an actual corpse?
You don't see it because it's buried.
Oh, it's already.
It's buried, but you still ask, what you would do with that, And then it's also the time the kids someday together would discuss this kind of thing.
But how do they get the corpse up the hill?
That's not difficult. It's just money.
Without the kids seeing.
No, not like that. When the people when they die, So the Chinese people prefer to bury the body and the whole body. They prefer that because they think the
We do
whole
that here,
whole
too.
body. Yeah, they prefer that. So and then of course like my grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, and I forgot what is uncle and dad did this and that. All are buried around. They know where and where. Of course, you cannot buy the same place. So that's why usually it's a tradition. You worship the old one, the oldest first, and then you go one by one and here and there. And some even they have to diverse a little time because we have to spend whole day.
It's like a party, it's like a festival.
It's a party. That's why I say it's like a party. That's why we need to have a big pig, the roast pig, and the colorful eggs. You need to make the eggs in red color. Is that true in Taiwan? I don't know. You don't have that.
It depends the age.
Depending on age.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
so
you
over
pass
90.
80,
Hong Dan.
80 or 90.
Ah.
90,
That's
over
a
90 years
celebration.
old.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. No, but for us, even during the ancestor, I mean, just Qingming, we still have to do that. The egg is red color.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's past, they pass away already
Yeah, when the pass away.
for the ancestors.
So anyway, I just want to say that I remember in those days, sometimes we discuss when I die, it's very different culture because we will talk. Yeah, and when we die, so how should I nowadays you have cremation, you have this so-called burial. So how you like it? And we thought, we don't want to put it down there. Look at when your corpse are there, it might look very decent, but after some time, these worms grow up and eating you and all sort of thing. Imagine it's much more horrible. Of course, we think that we have become a ghost, right? And you become a ghost. So what happened with my body? Nobody held my body now. So better just, burn. Some say, anyway. So there's so many ways of saying.
Or feed it to the animals.
Tibetans do that because they don't have wood.
No, I don't think that. I don't think nowadays if we want to feed it to animals, I mean that would be horrible too. To people think because
Tibetans do it up in
I know that. Yeah, I know they do it, but I want to say it's like. Imagine that you think about these birds flying over your house. Now maybe eat the corpse before.
well, the vultures, they live up in the mountains.
No, he said they'll feed it to animals. No, actually you do. If you really have a corpse, the body die. If you really know how to chop the body and to the chicken definitely eat it.
Pigs will eat it.
Why
Dogs, dogs.
Yeah,
pigs, and chickens.
you would maybe you boil it to the human to eat it. Doesn't know that. I'm joking, but I just want to say,
like chicken.
no, I
It
think
tastes like pork.
to me the problem is not about. Yeah, that's all I want to say. It's like everybody then later so fear whether this chicken been eating the corpse before, right? I'm saying this
Was
way.
it traumatic for you as a boy, knowing that, your ancestors are all
No,
buried in the...
no. It just become traumatic to me because thinking that the corpse there become eaten by worms. Yeah.
Like this here.
Yeah. Okay.
Ground.
Okay, shall we read this passage? I think this is not much to talk about, but I think we can have a little break after this body.
The nine charnel ground one?
Yes, we finish all. 1, 2, 3, again.
And Bhikkhus, as if you were looking at a corpse left in the charnel ground, 1, 2, 3 days dead,
Bloated, livid, and festering. A bhikkhu compares the same body thus. This body too is of the same nature, of the same constitution. It has not gotten beyond this.
In
In this way, he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, not claiming anything in the world. This is how bhikkhu abides contemplating the body with regards to the body. Again, bhikkhus, as he were looking at a corpse left in the charnel ground, eaten by crows, hawks, vultures, dogs, jackals, or other animals, a bhikkhu compares this very same body thus. This body too is of the same nature, of the same constitution. It has not got beyond this. In this way he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how bhikkhu abides contemplating the body with regards to the body.
Again, bhikkhus, as
As
if
if we were looking at a corpse left in the charnel ground, A skeleton with flesh and blood held together with sinews. A skeleton with no flesh but smeared with blood and held together with sinews. A skeleton without flesh or blood held together with sinews. A hand bone here, a foot bone there, a leg bone here, a rib bone here, a hip bone here, a backbone here, the skull here. The bhikkhu compares this very same body thus. This body too is of the same nature, of the same constitution, it has not gone beyond this. In this way he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body with regards to the body. Again, bhikkhus, as if you were looking at a corpse left in a charnel ground, white bones looking like shells, bones piled up more than a year old, rotten, crumbling bones. He compares the very same body thus. This body too is of the same nature, of the same constitution. It has not gone beyond this. In this way he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body with regards to the body. In this way he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body internally, or he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body externally, or he abides contemplating the body with regards to the body both internally and externally. Or he abides contemplating the body and observing the rising of phenomena, or he abides contemplating the body and observing the ceasing of phenomena, or he abides contemplating the body and observing the rising and ceasing of phenomena. Or mindfulness that there is a body is virtually present in him as far as for purpose of knowledge and full remembrance. He abides independently, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body with regards to the body.
Okay, thank
This is
you.
the longest one, isn't it? Of the chart.
Yeah, because it's you have to contemplate the 9 channels. I think generally means that when you see a dead corpse there, and then you understand that I also will be the same, and then you can go beyond that.
What's
So
the 9 channel? What's
I mean 9
stages-
separate channels. Stages mean
the stages of how
the body will decomposing when they've been cast on the ground or cast on the channel. So that's why usually they say 9 channels, kind of contemplation. So nowadays, of course, this is you cannot do it by you can really look at like by the life, but you can still visualize in that way. And basically, it's a way that I think it's a little bit similar to meditate on the death, yeah, or the death. I guess.
Well, isn't this the death?
No, this is not the death, because that meditation is mostly you contemplate that everyone will die and I will die too.
Oh,
But I think here is more even beside the death is about the body itself,
there's not
the decomposition.
unlike the other body parts. There's not really a rising in these. This is just ceasing, sort of. I mean, it's already dead, so there's not a lot of rising. It's not. You're not seeing the rising.
Well, you could say the rising of the death of this part, and then cease and change to other thing, and then one facing to another facing.
Yeah.
At the last facing is completely become dust. You could not even see there's a so-called body there too, right? So, yeah. So, and I think it's very important, there's a sentence saying that this body too is of the same nature, of the same constitution. It has not go beyond this. I mean, if you check all kind of body, you will bound to be the same
But how do
situation.
you practice that as vipassana?
So that's why you first contemplate there was 9 steps. And then you should see the 9 steps is going to be arise. I mean, something was there and then change into other stage, another stage, or another stage. And at the end, it become completely
So this is
ceased.
one that you have to use your imagination.
Yeah, you kind of you should imagine. That's why I say maybe, well, in during the Buddha's time, that people still watch that
Decompose.
because they really could see that. But now you have to just imagine.
Oh, because people couldn't afford to be burned.
Hmm?
People could not afford to be burned, to be cremated.
I mean, it's the world changing. I mean, who want to throw the body now on that kind of place now? People think you're barbar and perhaps even kill you before you really throw that corpse there.
In the ground or in a furnace?
I mean, even furnace. I mean, not ground on the ground. Channel is a place in those days, kind of like the place that to keep that corpse.
I know in the Jewish religion they don't believe in cremating.
They don't believe in
Let's go back
cremating.
to
Yeah.
the-
So it has something to do with the spine and the back has to remain something to do.
This
with
has to go back to it.
So no, for getting reborn, like you can't mess with the spine.
Yeah. Otherwise, on like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the body also has to drop into.
Well, there's a kind of saying in Chinese, old folk Chinese culture in the old day too. The body had to remain the best, otherwise you cannot go to heavens or something like that too. So that's why earlier time, I think unless the Buddhists influenced the Chinese culture, that's why the old Chinese people don't like this cremation.
But in Pali and
Yeah.
in Buddha's time, Buddha was,
Yeah, they cremated.
he was
Yeah,
cremated.
cremated. Yeah.
But they saved his tooth and some of his teeth and.
Yeah, but it's after the cremated, there's still the tooth and these things still left.
Yes.
Yeah, still stays, right? Yeah.
They should have taken the teeth out first before they.
So taken what? The teeth out?
I mean, he's already dead.
That'd be disrespectful to touch.
Well, they did save the teeth, and then they built pagodas and other and hair.
Stupas.
Oh, it's
I don't know, but you still don't take it before cremated. I mean,
relics.
otherwise that the Buddha's body would.
They probably saved some
It sounds very strange to me. I cannot imagine
Did they
that.
save his ashes as well?
It was
Yes,
distributed-
his
it was
ashes say
distributed
also.
by-
His ashes say in one of the also. So actually, it said there's 8 parts, right? The 9th part is ashes. So it was, I forgot. The ashes is kept in somewhere. Yeah, 9
I think a lot
part.
of people
So.
shoot different pieces.
The 9th part actually is ashes. The ashes were kept by, I forgot the name. One of the race
the
anyway.
monks?
No, monk. The race. He took the ashes. I think he came the last one, last race. I forgot the story now.
Oh.
So that's one race. I mean, they're each race mean they're kind of ethnic people, tribe. Maybe say tribe, maybe easier. A kind of tribe took their ashes. Maybe they came the last. Yeah, they're still happy with the ashes too. So they enjoy the
Ashes
ashes.
are still somewhere.
Well, unless it's been destroyed, it should be, unless it's been destroyed, yeah.
Did you see the statue of the monk, the Buddhist monk that has the bones inside? It's been all over the
Yeah, I know,
Skin
I
loss.
saw that, yeah. Those are many, actually. In Thailand, there are so many. Even in Hong Kong, I saw the real one. In China, I saw the real one. The Satipat, his body still remains. Liu Zhu Ma. I saw that.
Patriarch, which one?
St. Patrick's, yeah.
Huan?
No, in Guangzhou, in Guangzhou, what is that? The temple? Nanhua Shi, yeah. I went there. I went inside also. So and then they have the Thailand also. I saw several, and even in Hong Kong, I saw an old Chinese monk, and his nails still grow. Then you can see he had
Still growing?
grown the long nail in Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah, because that's true. That grows, that continues.
They grow
For a while.
nails. No, long time. He passed away.
It's not still growing now.
It's still growing now. Yes, very long, and still growing.
How many years? Hundreds
I think
of years?
no, 100. I think maybe at least 50 years he passed away.
Oh, and he's still just,
So, yeah. I think I forgot the name. Yeah, actually in China,
that'd be interesting.
and there was a time it's very popular this kind of cremation because even in my town when the first monk passed away, so-called the first monk, as far as I know in our state, there was one monk who become a monk very old age after 60 years old. And I think he became a monk only 5 years or something like that, maybe longer than that, but it's not more than like 20 years definitely, but say that 10 years or just a little more. Then he died and he passed away. So I don't know why, or maybe with his idea or some other lay person idea, because that's a lay organization.
Oh.
So and then they put it in the kind of I don't know, that kind of a kind of thing container. So they have a way to preserve the body, and then so it was a big day. Even I knew about that day. It was a big day, and then they want to wait to open that and see whether his body will still remain full. But when it opened, it just decomposed. Yeah.
Was he enlightened?
No, this is what the people hope to see.
I know, but was he?
We don't know. I just want to say that this is how the Chinese, even the Thai, of course, I think the Chinese believe that if you find the body, when you open it and the body still remains, so suddenly he has to be either the Greek bodhisattva or somebody highly attained. So yeah, they have that. So that's why even in Taiwan you have few of these kind of like Chi Han Fa Shi is one I know. I saw his body also. I accidentally stayed his temple when I was a newly ordained monk in Taiwan. So I think I have good karma in the past. I always, by accident, I never know who is it. And I saw why this monk wear like a Theravada, his picture is always have a robe and you could see his, but then I saw his statue, I just worship it. I don't know who is it and who he is and anything. So anyway, that's why I say always I have a good karma. Always can worship so many things, even though I don't know who they are, who they were. But now later I knew. Okay. Anyway, we have a little break and come back for the class. All right. Thank you.
明天你自己开车过来吗？明天晚上。明天可以啊，我自己开车6点半。
Are you leaving now?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
要准备些什么东西吗？需要同一片或是白发鞋？
不是，我都还没有跟我讲明天上课的事。你明天上什么？明天上什么？
都可以啊。
我们要做什么？
明天我们都没有想好，看师傅要带什么。
哦，
因为也不晓得来听的是什么样的人，也不晓得了。
哦，但是你们已经有发通告了吗？
有发通告，就是会还有在课上说有一些同学他们说，但有些听到消息过来的也会有。
哦，所以明天 OK。我们要做什么？我们现在是几点到几点？你知道吗？7点半到8点半。你们 prefer 什么形式啊？我不知道。因为6点半到8点半。那现在你们目前安排的课是1个月2次吗？
不是说就好像在大觉寺一样那种形式，就是以禅修为主，但是就是如果有人有问题可以讨论什么之类的，是不是？我记得好像是这样。
这样可能他们会热络吗？
因为我怕有些人可能没有做进去，有些人多好啊！
有看到，对。
看到，那你觉得呢？你觉得没关系啊，你就想一想嘛，你也想一下觉得怎么样？我们倒是，你2个小时做他们肯定是不能的了，对啊，对，是啊，肯定是不能的。我们只是想要讲什么。
就是教他们做慈心禅，怎么做方法教一下。
这也可以，但是还有听过这个之外，就是说他要带一点读书东西吗？我也不知道。
You guys are wonderful. I'm just I love the American kind of what they went through. They went
想法吗？
要不然就介绍一下素养心法，然后带一个简单的慈心禅。
可以。因为以前法师在那边上课的时候，我都不在，所以
要不然你们有没有什么最近什么想要听的？
最近啊。
对。我觉得他们。
反正不是阿毗达摩就是了。
阿毗达摩听了会睡着。
因为有些老太太、老先生可能没办法。
对啊，老先生阿毗达摩可能会睡着。
对啊。
慈经他们听过吗？对不对？他们听过吗？对啊。
我想他们大概听了也不记得。以前都是哪些人去上课，我也不知道。
我也不知道，不过其实那时候还做的真的挺忙的，对啊，对啊，每次都满嘛，做到外面，对啊。那么至于我也没有跟他们什么，我上完课就离开，我也。
你们那时候有发通告还是什么？
那时候不，那其实那时候你不在吗？林秀慧有去了，林秀慧有去。嗯。
然后就是那时候是每个星期二晚上，
对啊。
人很多，都满满的。
嗯。
要不然就
那时候2期耶，就是那
我
个数量。
对啊，我带了2期，我记得是。
带了2期，后来就因为有这边就那边。
对啊，所以就因为这有课，后来那边就取消了嘛。
因为那时候就是等于是后半段的时候，等于是星期二要到那边，星期三要到这边，所以就后来这边就刚开始的时候这边没有，所以就
要不然就讲那个修行
花
道，
通道对象要问。
修行道系是哪一个？
就很像在西雅图讲类似那种，然后可以把它再缩短一
就
点，
是关于这个边有贴，对对对，那画通告的话，可能就是
那不要讲过长，说短一点，讲个大纲，
我想不是，我想可能是在因为不在，我想可能是
讲个简单的，就是界定，或者就是文思修
法师他先讲，然后接着来就。
Oh yeah, he wasn't a format to go to
因为1个半小时到人家2个小时，
也是2个小时。
6点。
我记得好像是我一般本来打算是讲经讲1个小时，坐禅1个小时，但是一般讲就讲到超过一个小时了。那时候都每次发不同的经嘛，
是6点半到8点半。
那可以啊，那还是这个模式，我觉得比较理想。还是先介绍一下，什么样协会的，是什么样的菜法，介绍一下，让我们。
你是觉得是直接用事无量心就好，还是讲别的？
不一定要是无量心，因为2个人在那边讲。
我觉得可以讲的，上次去就讲了2期。
修行到次第类，就是戒定慧啊，然后用那个有部的说法来，或者跟上座部有部的这个修行方法，对啊，有那种戒定慧啊，
开始修上周的修行方法，
或者是不好看法法是觉得哪一个比较好，然后
就是讲的跟他们之后能够 practice
大的结构啊，
这个真的能够 practice 在生活中。
讲的直接就要 practice， 可能那个很难。不是说有不难的，我说你如果讲一个什么修行次第，然后你直接 practice 什么 practice 啊，这时间可能不够的。对啊，但是所以就是说你要想好嘛，这个概念就是说，你要让他们知道这个修行的概念呢，还是你要，当然我们在做的时候，我们可以做持观这些了哈，还是你要就是说我这个题目就是讲这个题目，他可能不一定知道还有别的东西，但是他就是修持观这样。如果是我的话，当然就看你们那边的学员嘛。如果是对学员来讲，我是个人认为对学员他应该最好是要，这是我的概念里的，他首先要知道有一个修行的概念。那当然他在修的时候可以说我先修持观，修什么这样子。
简单的就是比较单纯的方法。
对，他修当然是这样，但是他一定要知道有一个修行概念，要不然他都
整体的架构。
对，就是说哦，原来。就是反正这原来是世界上人是可以透过这种修行达到什么样的境地，那他有一个什么样的一套理论在那里这样子，对，或者一套修行方法在那里这样子，我觉得，因为你只有1个月1次嘛，可能这样会比较好一点，我在想，我不知道了。你就是有2种想法的时候，我就说一个就是介绍一个整体结构，但是我们坐禅是归坐禅，就有点像不一定要跟它连在一起，当然就是跟禅修是有关系，但是不能连在一起。有一种就是说你就讲这个就是做这个，其实就算我们上次教持观也都是这样。虽然我讲了这么多四无量心啊，这个经怎么说，点尊经啊，什么经啊，都读了一大堆，但是我也不知道他们读到后来到底是怎么样。然后在做持观的时候，其实也很简单，就做很基本的持观而已，因为都没有时间的嘛。而且大家也不知道回去要再继续用功这样。
还是整个架构讲这样，然后做就是简单的方法，让他们能够回去也可以练习。
下午可以吃，你就用这个方式吧，我们就这样吧。Are we okay? You have a good party? 没关系，哦，你有东西要弄，你先弄啊。
Do you know an American monk named Vimala Marcy?
I don't know.
Or Vimala Marcy? You know him? In Missouri. You don't know? Did you know him?
Vimala Marcy, I don't know.
我听过啊。I've heard about it, but never get a chance to know why you want to bring it up.
He seems like a good monk.
Okay.
Everyone seems like
Actually, the first one, I found out about it because they were giving a book, and Carmel, a free book he wrote on Anapanasati. It's pink. It's got a pink cover. Anapanasati and Vimala Marcy. And then he's got a bunch of YouTube videos. He looks like a grandfather. He's probably a little bit older, American.
Oh, I see.
在美国的时间，他本来是跟我讲，我们那边是
big guy.
He's a big guy. I don't know how old he is, but I mean,
70s.
he's in his 70s.
12道，然后这边中原世界出来，他就走了，就不谈到这样子。他后来因为看到我妹就在说，他说那这样子
You want everybody to come back now?
Yeah.
Come back now.
But Angelina say, wait a moment, I don't know what she's doing. It's all right.
Okay.
真人是啊。那你觉得你们那边居士会需要想要听什么？
他们其实我问过他们好多次，他们都没有什么意见。就是他们有几个，就是那个时候他们去那边带禅修讲师这样子的时候，有几个他们就有兴趣，有觉得深入这样子。那后来他们我在那边弄读书会嘛，然后他们也参加我的读书会。开一法师又去讲说他们又想要禅修，说他们其实是想要禅修，他们想要。我觉得他们最想的那几个啦，就是那几个有一直去在做的，他们就是最想的就是想要突破。那其他的就是基础都还不是很稳，就是有这个差啦。那有几个想要突破，一般大部分的就是比较。
Okay. So, right. So now we need to have a little flashback to what we read the Chinese version. But we at least, even though not necessarily you remember, but I mean at least we must know there's some difference between the Chinese version and the Pali version. So the main difference actually, the steps are almost the same because it starts with the mindfulness of breathing as well. But however, there's one very strange passage in the Chinese. I mean, it's just like examination. See, I'm the good guy. I can pass my exam very easy, because you always have to find what is the common point and what is the different point between the two versions. So, and then the Chinese, of course, there's the one passage which is quite debatable. But of course, I mean, some people prefer to think that actually it's a mistranslation. But it looks like Chinese in other places also use the same word. That means the last stage means when you breathe in, calming the breath, you are breathing, calming the breath. When you breathe out, with the mouth, calming your mouth, right? Then to breathe out. That's one of the strange passage. It looks like strange passage, especially for the Pali version, or maybe even for some other version too. Okay. And then the Chinese also has very clear, they also mention about this jhana stage. And then after when the person who meditates in breath and out breath, and after they calming the breath, and then he could, with the body, he could know that he's enter or he's attend the first dhyana or second dhyana, and third dhyana, and fourth dhyana. That's the Chinese version. And after that also, I think it's one of the very good suggestion also there, which is you don't find the Pali version, is because I guess you could understand it this way, because since he mentioned jhana so clearly. So of course the next step what a practitioner should do is how to retain the light. Sorry, the light. I won't say nimitta, I say the light. The light. Because the word they use is not nimitta, the light. Anyway, so and then that's why then the person have to, even day and night, always try to protect the light. Okay, this is also why we have a word. In other words, you could say the so-called the perception of light, the aloka sanya in Pali, mean the perception of light might have a little. It looks like might have a little different understanding from the Pali version, because the Pali you could say the perception of light mean it's just kind of one of the meditation practice, because you need to visualize the light. But this the Chinese version of the Smriti Upasthana, I mean the Satipatthana, the foundation of mindfulness, have a passage about how one should retain the light. Okay, but this is don't find it very strange too. But if you look at all these, especially like a Yogacara Bhumi, Yiche Siddhi, so the system is completely the same. So and then, but of course we don't know when the Yogacara Bhumi being composed, what text they use. I mean, borrow, but definitely that is just completely the same ideas in the Yogacara Bhumi. In other words, mean the Mahayana also heaven also. To protect the light means that then you will not lose your jhana. So. Because you cannot always enter jhana, right? You don't sleep and enter jhana and wake up and enter jhana or not like that. So, but the way that how you retain your jhana is to retain the light. and then other thing is that I think those are the only differences. So, but then but they didn't have this kind of long passage basically about. They don't have these passages almost like observing, stretching, and walking, going out, returning back. No, they don't have those passages, but they do have these passages also observing a person. But say more specifically, mean observing a person sitting, a practitioner sitting, as if someone looking for the other, right? But which is you don't find this, which you don't find a similar passage in Pali. Okay. So those are the Chinese version, the difference between the Chinese version and the Pali version. So with regard to the contemplation of the body. No, we don't have a better or not, I guess.
Chinese is always better.
Don't say this to the Pali version people. Okay, now let's look at the contemplation of feelings. I'm sure that you can all read these contemplation feelings. There's only three kinds of feelings, but divided into three sections. Okay. Okay. Can we just read it first so that it could help you to know that what we are going to talk about. Okay. So and bhikkhus.
How does the bhikkhu provide contemplating feelings with regards to feelings?
Here
bhikkhus
feeling unpleasant feeling.
A bhikkhu knows I feel a pleasant feeling.
When
feeling a painful feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel a painful feeling.
When
feeling
feeling
neither
painful nor unpleasant feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel neither painful nor not pleasant feeling. When feeling a worldly feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel a worldly pleasant feeling. When feeling unworldly pleasant feelings, a bhikkhu knows I feel an unworldly pleasant feeling. When feeling a worldly painful feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel a worldly painful feeling. When feeling an unworldly painful feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel an unworldly painful feeling. When feeling a worldly neither painful nor not pleasant feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel a worldly neither painful nor not pleasant feeling. When feeling an unworldly neither painful nor not pleasant feeling, a bhikkhu knows I feel an unworldly neither painful nor not pleasant feeling. In this way, he abides contemplating feelings with regard to the feelings internally, or he abides contemplating feelings with regard to the feelings externally, or he abides contemplating feelings with regard to the feelings both internally and externally, or he abides contemplating feelings observing the arising of phenomena, or he abides contemplating feelings observing the ceasing of phenomena, or he abides contemplating the feelings observing the rising and ceasing of phenomena, or mindfulness that there is a feeling is virtually present within him, as far as for the purpose of knowledge and fully remembers. He abides independently, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how he abides contemplating feelings.
Okay. Actually, this is a very simple passage, but it's not very easy to practice. For example, when someone meditates, right, and then you feel the leg pain, and then the people will say, oh, my leg is pain. Maybe I'm not good in meditation. Look at the other person. He can sit there for 2 hours. I only sit there for 10 minutes, right? So that means that the person hasn't established this kind of mindfulness, contemplation, the feelings as feeling, okay? If a person at the time, when he knew that, oh, my leg is pain, so he just know this is painful feelings, then that person is establishing the mindfulness on the feelings as feelings. Because he's not thinking something else that I'm a loser, or maybe because I meditate for 3 hours or even 1 hour, feel the body is so peaceful, so joyful, almost like the body have smooth, almost like somebody having a hot weather and then you are in the cold water, shocking in the cold water, you feel so nice. So you say, look, I'm a good meditator. I've been sitting 1 hour, so I have this effect, right? Those are the wrong. It's not contemplation body as a body. But if he practice the contemplation body as a body, then he know I have a pleasant feelings. That's it. Looks very simple. So, and then the same thing, sometimes when you meditate, the same thing when the leg or even your mind could be, okay. The leg, say, I'm talking about the physical first, but let me just put it different. So if you meditate and then when your leg start to get numb, you don't feel anything. People get panic. Oh, my leg is going gone. I'm going to be crippled. That's why I ask people, don't worry. If you will be a cripple, I will start first because I be meditate and sit there. I did try long hours, but even after, there was a time I do cross leg when I was younger. Now it's harder, I have to say. When I was younger, I do cross leg. I really sit. Yeah, full loaders. And then I sit long time. I want to just break more than 6 hours. I really sit there for a long time. And then I was quite 3 hours, 5, 4 hours, 5. 5 hours struggle a little bit. All my power is gone. But my determination is still there. 6 hours. I had to be break the 6 hours. The worst thing always is not that 6 hours. The worst thing is about to reach to 6 hours. It's true. If you know that you have half hour, you just know, give up. But then you have, 10 minutes more. You look at the time. Because your mind actually is not really meditating already. You just, and I want to say that 10 minutes is really long.
Yes.
So, really long. But what the consequence is when you finish that 6 hours, of course I had to wait for not just exactly 6, but a little bit more, like 1 minute, 2 minutes more. Your feet gone. You don't feel anything. Right? I mean, of course, I don't know whether people will panic, but I was fine. I knew that I know that it won't be a problem, but it's so painful later on. That's another question. I just want to say that's why I always tell people, no, don't worry. It's just only 1 hour. Definitely, you will not be crippled. You will have no problem. So I want to say is, let's say if the person meditate and then they don't feel anything in the feet. So if you know this is neutral feelings, and then that means you're still practicing the contemplation of the feelings as feeling. You are not doing something else. So now, actually you can apply the same principle to every feeling. So same thing, because sometimes here there's a pleasant feelings, the other part has the painful feeling, the other part you don't know the feelings, mean the neutral feelings. You do. Let's say you might be just observe your body. You sit there, you might be know it could be pleasant feelings in some part of your body, but sometimes you do feel some part you don't feel anything, right? like in your body? No, you don't. Somehow. But anyway, that is also kind of neutral feeling. So if you know there's a neutral feeling, there's a painful feelings, there's a there's a pleasant feelings. Even that actually itself, if you're always just observing this feeling is painful, this is what, but no any judging, no any thinking I pain or what, just know this is painful feeling, this is what, and then you also started to slowly see. Even the same spot of the body, sometimes a painful feeling become a pleasant feelings. The pleasant feeling can become a neutral feelings, something like that. You also see the arising and the ceasing of the phenomena. And also, because if you're observing the body, even any part of the body, that they have this painful feeling or good feelings, but the feelings also change too. Because let's say there's a painful feeling, sometimes the painful feeling subside, will disappear, right? So you also know the feelings are also changing, arising and ceasing. So, but I mean, that's why I say in theory it's very simple, that you just have to observe it, have these kind of feelings. So, and then the feeling also been understood in two parts. One is the mental part feelings and one is the physical part feelings, okay? The physical part is is because it has, the feelings has to do with your physical body. But the mental has to do with your mental, right? Emotion. I don't know whether you should call that emotion. Maybe. I don't know. I quite careful about the word emotion, but yeah, it could. Generally means even people have jhana, right? If they have to meditate, when they are very focused, the mind, when the mind is no distraction, they feel joy. And that is the so-called is the pleasant feelings, right? Mentally pleasant feelings. So when a person, even they have jhana, but they are not, they also feel that I have a better jhana, now I move to other jhana, or when I have a better meditation, I'm still doing good meditation, but I just have one stage to another stage. There's a transition also. So the transition, you don't like it, the transition, because you are, let's say, you have a good time, meditate, and then now you know that you need to finish your meditation because you need to go to work, right? So the good time is gone, but your mind is still calm. It's not like the normal painful thing. You're still calm, but comparatively, that is like glossed and not that joyful. And that's also a kind of, somebody like to translate, that's kind of mental, mental also painful feeling. But I forget, I maybe say easier to do this way. We have a word called unworthy, okay, unworthy. So the unworthy, maybe you can translate as spiritual. So it means, this is what I just described as unworthy. It means you are beyond. It's generally translated as unworthy because it means people, normal people would not do it. Generally, people don't do it. They don't base on the sense, stimulation. It's more only the mentally, like you meditate, you focus, you have this kind of achievement. And sometimes even the painful feeling can be because you have been transit from one stage to another stage, especially from the higher stage to the lower stage, right? There's painful feeling, that now I'm in relatively, it become, when I say painful, it does mean pain, like it's not something you prefer, kind of like, As the same thing, like you also meditate, something like, when you contemplate the impermanence, okay? Sometimes when you meditate on the impermanence, you don't feel like joyful, oh, impermanence, so wonderful. You don't. You just see impermanence. So when when your mind is not well established, like the equanimity, like the enlightenment factors of the equanimity, if you don't establish that way, your mind is still up and down. You still feel, oh, this is really painful. Oh, this is really painful. So it's also painful because when you're perceiving the dukkha, the suffering, right? So when you're perceiving, you see why the people still clinging on all these kind of things, why they want to fight, why they want to go to war, but they still have to die like that. And then you feel, and then, the world changing and you feel this kind of suffering there, When you feel the suffering, so and then you're aware that that is impermanence. Basically, you're aware that, and then that's also a kind of painful feelings you have. Okay, so it's a spiritual painful feelings. Okay, and then the neutral feeling is like equanimity. It's a neutral feeling. You have a question?
Well, what about dukkha?
Yeah, that's when I mean the dukkha, when you observe the dukkha. So, but the good one
That's
of...
different, but I guess, is there a worldly and an unworldly dukkha? Like when we're getting in touch with the...
Yeah, I was
three
talking, no,
characters?
actually I was talking about unworthy dukkha now.
Oh.
You're observing the thing as dukkha, but you have this painful feeling.
Yeah.
So that is, but of course, now let me introduce why. You see, when you're observing things, they have three ways, not three ways, they were mostly we analyze in three things. One, dukkha, right? Like people get ill and then they were bound to suffering. When you're observing the suffering, to the suffering itself is suffering, right? So of course that you have this kind of maybe more clean to have this kind of so-called painful spiritual feeling, I mean unworthy feelings, right? And then you also have these so-called what you call sankhara dukkha. So and then you have one you said, and then one is called parinama dukkha. It means one is mean because thing it was nice but it was ceased. And usually, let's say, when people have a good jhana, but you cannot retain a jhana all the time, the jhana will cease too. So that's what we call changing. The changing itself is dukkha. But in Chinese called 坏苦, 苦苦, 坏苦, 坏. So because it will be decaying. Actually, parinama, it means changing, it means decaying. So, and that normally come from, usually when you see this, accordingly say that when usually you're able to see this kind of changing as a suffering is when you have this spiritual joyful feelings. It's called pleasant, okay, spiritual pleasant feelings, that unworthy. But usually the best, of course, that's the reason why in Buddhism sometimes we have this debate. The best, ultimately, you still have to be developed these so-called neutral feelings. It's like upekkha. So, and then this means the equanimity kind of mind, observing so-called sankhara, mean all formation as suffering. So 就我们叫行苦嘛，就是坏苦、行苦，and then 苦苦。So and that also can be related to means the feelings. Basically, mean you have these neutral feelings. Even though we must understand in Buddhism, sometimes the neutral feelings has to be very careful, because according to even in the Nikaya or the Agama or even the Abhidhamma, so the neutral feelings sometimes can be indicating when someone has the neutral feelings mean somebody are ignorance. So because when a person, usually when the people feel I'm happy, it's you might have more, you have a tendency to become craving to something because you like this happy, the good thing, the good feelings. And then when you feel suffering, painful, you have a highly tendency to become anger, or what we call Pali called patika, means fighting, like 矛盾, how to say, counteract yourself. You become conflict mind. You have this conflict mind. So that, of course, that conflict might create this kind of like anger. So, but when you have a confused mind, that you are very likely, when a person have a neutral feelings, it's very likely when you have a confused mind. Okay, we must also understand the feelings is some neutral. Something can be very dangerous. I mean, not dangerous. We need to keep very rigid awareness to the neutral feelings, because it can be because you are either your drowsiness or sleepiness, right? Or because you have this kind of unawareness. Basically, mean your mind is become like you have this 就是愚痴嘛. So you become dull person. So, but then we need to still have to separate the two, the neutral feeling to the equanimity. Okay. Equanimity 就是平等心或者是舍心，So 七觉知里面 even the 7 enlightenment factors, you have these equanimity factors of enlightenment, 就是舍觉知嘛，So that's why, anyway, I want to say this, it's important to understand, to aware the feelings also with the spiritual also. You still have, don't think that, oh, when I have a spiritual feelings, mean I'm in a good practice, but I don't have the painful feelings. You do. Okay. Understand? So you would not claim, I mean, imagine that, let's say there's an arahant, someone who are very powerful meditate. So when he was walking, and then he saw someone was murdered there, he would not say, oh, how joyful, right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He would painful feelings there. Get it now?
He just doesn't attach.
Yeah, he doesn't attach. Now, the doesn't attach is, we answered the question here already, because he knows that's the feelings. Well, of course, they are even much more deeper, you know, right? Okay. So he might be even see this, and later he knew that. Anyway, so that's not, this is hard, forget about the example. So something like this, okay. So, so that's why we must know that the spiritual feeling also have this painful feeling too, okay? Because a lot of people meditate, I knew that people have so many misconceptions. They were thinking, when I'm doing good meditation, mean my leg is not going to pain, my feeling is not going to feel bad, right? That is definitely wrong. That's why when you ask the teacher, usually say, is it true that if I have a good meditation, my mind is always not feel painful? Yes and no. Because it's true, you know, because why yes and no? Because compared to normal people, of course it should be. The pain is not like the normal pain, you like, you know, agitated like that. But that's why, yes, you don't. But no mean you still have pain, but the pain is different. The way, you know, okay? So, and that's the thing. And of course, now what it is worldly, I think worldly I don't have to mention. Worldly one is like normal that reflect already. So the normal, like, you know, like the eye, you want to see something. The ear want to hear nice thing. That's the reason why when you do meditation, they don't allow you to listen to music and see all this when you are in intensive meditation. So because then you'll be built up only the craving, more and more and more and more. You don't know how to observe. Now I have the ear wanted this kind of what to call the formation build up. Because you want to hear more and more and more, that craving still keep on and go on. So you just know, oh, my ear want to hear. When you hear a nice thing, you just know you want to hear. And or you just know the feelings like pleasant, 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 pleasant. Or maybe you hear something is, I'm talking about when you meditate on with regard to only the feelings. Okay? So when you hear something like unpleasant, you know unpleasant, unpleasant, unpleasant. Maybe you just meditate and then your power, sometimes your mind is so powerful, become like equal poise kind of mind, you know, very, very, very even mind. And then you might be just know sound. There's no feeling, almost like neutral feelings. You just know the sound coming, contact, you know. So those mean the feelings. So, but imagine that, we have to imagine at least. If, that with our body, eye want to see something, the nose want to smell something, the tongue want to taste something, and then the ear want to hear something, and then the body want to have a good feelings, contact, right? And of course, sometimes your body don't have a good contact, like, you know, sitting on the cushion for a long time, you feel this cushion is hard. Those are the painful feelings. But those are called the worldly, okay, painful feelings. And then even your mind want to think something nice, right? That's even more powerful. Let's say you meditate, you're thinking, oh, I can be a great master. And you feel have joyful. Actually, you have a lot of this kind of mind thinking, have the object of your thought that is a great master, and you feel pleasant, right? So you know there's a kind of pleasant feelings there. Or you think that, oh, you know, see, and you might be thinking somebody, oh, who are meditate better than I, and you have this sorrow. And then you know that you have these painful feelings. And also sometimes you might be thinking something, but you don't have feelings. You just, but to Buddhism it's impossible you don't have feelings, okay? Because according to the dependent arisings, when there's a six senses, you know that when there's a six senses, and then you have this passa, then you have the contact. When the six senses, when they have the contact, so they're bound to be the feelings. When there's a feelings, then there's a craving. In other words, if you're able to stop the craving, then you're able to stop you're able to stop the feelings, and then you will not go further to the craving. So, okay. So this is but here, but I mean, you cannot stop. So now even we know the theory, my eye bound to be see a thing. When my eye have the object as a form, that I might bound to be have the contact. When there's a contact, there should be the feelings. And then when there's a feeling, then there should be the craving, right? So that's a theory. Now, this Satipatthana Sutta is very clear to say, when you have this contact and when there's a feelings arise, if you just know that's the painful feelings, then the craving not arise. Okay, that's awareness itself the awareness itself will help you not to be develop this kind of course, in Buddhism call this kind of the bad formation. So and then of course then when there's no craving, then there would be have no coming, okay, and so on and so on. Then of course then you will have no lamentation and grief. So imagine if you just sit here, if you have able to develop this mind or this kind of awareness, that we just only know I have this feeling, I have that feelings, I have these feelings, I have that feelings, or maybe I know in this material body I'm sitting, right? Or now I know I'm walking, or I maybe see other people, he's changing, and then I also know my state. We haven't go to other stages yet. Just say these two, the body one, and then maybe sometimes I just observing I have my organs, this organ, that organ, for example, and then sometimes I know my breath, right? Then you see you have all this kind of observing there, or maybe exercising there, but you don't create craving. Okay. Yes.
The moment the awareness happens, that's when that's when it ceases. My question is the moment you recognize that you're, well, of course not that you stop breathing, but the moment you recognize that something, a feeling is arising, then that's what, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this.
She's saying,
Based on what you were saying, if a person is aware of it, then it sort of ceases. It ceases to be.
No, but you don't, to Buddhism, everything will arise with cease. But it's only whether you will have this kind of sharp awareness or not to see that it will cease, right? But at least that's why you look at the passage. That's why the passage say either you're observing the arising, or either observing the ceasing, or either you're observing the arising and ceasing, or either you know this is a feeling, right? That serves the purpose already for the so-called the foundation of mindfulness. That will serve the purpose that you will not build up this kind of lust. You will not. That's why you say independently. You are out of this kind of lust, and then you are out of the craving to the world, right?
So I think I know what my question is. The moment you recognize the arising and the ceasing.
That is one part. Yeah, okay.
That's one part, but is that the practice of that action, continuous of course, does that lead to you being able to sort of look at it in a neutral way and developing that skill or the practice to be able to look at it in a sort of neutral way? Where the feelings don't arise. It's almost like the guy who was killed in front of the monk and he says painful. Or if you see a body and you don't say, a woman with a dress, you just see a body or movement of this matter. The practice itself of observing the arising and the ceasing itself leads to the neutrality of just looking at something as it exists.
I don't know whether that's called the neutrality all the time, sometimes. But that certainly is debatable. Definitely the neutrality is necessary when you are, according to this the so-called liberation scheme, the neutrality definitely is necessary when you're about to become like the saint, right? That definitely is necessary. I have no question about that. But we are not up to that stage yet. So we are talking about in the time when you practice, like this is a big, there's a big framework there. So now, okay, give the same example. Like, so let's say you see somebody killing somebody, okay? So now let's say we put this kind of scheme into that practice. Maybe you don't see the person killing. You only see people having arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing, right? You don't see a person. You only see the person, let's say he used a knife, just arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing. And then you see something being chopped like a vegetable. I mean, it sounds cruel, but you know what I'm saying. So your powerful, your meditation is so powerful, you only see that there are things split out. So the impermanence comes in, right? And the blood comes out like rising and arising and ceasing, arising. So that is you're observing the material arising and ceasing. Or maybe because somehow, because the time that when you meditate, or let's say your focus, your mindfulness is not so strong as every moment, every time that you could return that way, that you see this person being killed, basically. But
the practice itself of observing it when it occurs is what I am sort of thinking about, because when something happens and you notice that, you recognize and say, oh, I'm looking at this in a certain way. Is that the practice itself, that you recognize yourself, that you're observing it, not in the usual horror, oh my goodness, he killed somebody, or she.
I think if that's maybe yes. I mean, it depends, that's why I say it just depends on the level.
Because you said be very careful of looking at something neutral, because for me it could be a point of dispassion, being dispassionate, where you don't care if it's too,
Indifferent.
Indifferent, thank you, that's a better word. Indifferent. But the fact that you know it, you know that it arises and ceases, then that is a point where the Dharma is coming into play. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
But another thing what I want to stress is actually let me see. So what I want to stress is actually all the time, either materials part or either the feelings part, as far as you're able to observe them as the way it is, like you direct your mind to see the thing, that's what we call the manasikara. I mean, you are directing your mind correctly, paying attention to the certain thing. So, and then when you pay that attention to a certain thing, and then you are not, so when you look at this kind of statement, it doesn't dwell in doubt like, this is my feelings, this is whose feelings, or what. No, you just know this is feeling, but this is have a three kind of feelings there. Or maybe you just simply know a feelings, right? So this is, I guess, but then if you want to divide, but when you say to divide this, because you still know the feelings cannot be restricted, like not just the feelings mean the feelings, but it can be even because there are certain kind of sensual feelings there, including your mind have a craving to like to think something and don't like to think some other thing, right? Those are also will create the feelings too. And the same thing for the spiritual practice too. Like you may have a higher attainment, then you have a better feelings. But the other time, maybe you look at something, it's still higher attainment, but you look at something, but it gives you kind of more suffering kind of feelings. But you have to recognize this is also the painful feelings. But you don't say, oh, why my practice is going bad? Because if the people don't understand this, they would think, I am not practice better now. Because they would believe that when the people practice better, it should be more happy and more happy and more happy and more happy and more happy, right? So, but then they still don't see the impermanence, the arising and ceasing of the Dhamma, right? This is the part. And what I like to stress, not only the feelings, but even the same thing to the material thing. So what we learn before we don't forget, it means, according to the text, maybe you need to begin with the bodily practices first, like a breath, right? And then you go on this, go on that, at least to the text say so. But then when you practice in the feelings, because that time you don't care about feeling. You don't think, oh, I have an in-breath, and then I feel nice. My out-breath, I don't feel nice because it's cold. My in-breath is cold, and my out-breath is warm, and then but you still, some people actually, when you practice vipassana, I mean the insight meditation, That's why I always ask, what do you practice? If you practice samatha, no, don't think about that. But if you know that your out breath is cold, it's supposed to be warm, let's say. Oh, you say, I feel my breath cold, I don't feel happy. Then no, just know it, not happy. But when you explain that to them, they find very difficult. No, but I told you my breath is cold, it should be hot. Then, this is the point. I mean, what does actually mean by the Satipatthana, I mean the foundation of mindfulness, that you just know it. And then by knowing that you know, sometimes, but then again, maybe I met these people before. They report to me, but now I feel that my breath is good because it's become warm now. Then usually the teacher will say, you see, this is impermanent. Then he will say, why are you talking about impermanence? I'm telling you the breath is warm. Okay, but if the person is white, they will say, you see, I thought it was cold, but it become warm. And, okay. So actually, this is one part. And if you look at other Samyutta Nikaya, means other Buddhist texts, it also said, you might be even, not only you knowing this feeling, actually somehow you also know is agreeable to you or disagreeable to you. Okay, or you just don't care. Okay. So, and this is actually some people will teach you to do that also, because you will find why, gradually you start to find why you have this feeling, you have that feelings. Sometimes it's supposed to be good to others, not good to you. Why? It's not about the painful feelings. Say that. Let me tell you the story. Maybe. The one story said that some people, when they practice meditation, when there's a pain in a certain type of, there are so many different school of practice. One kind of school practice meditation is when there's a pain, you do look at the pain. When the pain was coming, and then you look at the pain, and you have to love the pain. Because the suffering will help you to go enlightenment. So some people become attached. And when there's no pain, they look for the pain. Where is the pain? My leg is, usually I sit there 1 hour, my knees are pain. Meditation have this kind of healing way, right? After your knee getting better or get used to whatever way you like to say, and then the pain doesn't come. So I heard this, and I heard this in Malaysia when I knew people go extreme. I sit there for 1 hour, no pain. So what they would do, they used something to hit it. Pain, come, pain, come, pain, come. Oh, now I can feel the pain. When the pain gone, okay, now, so what I want to say is that, you see, because when the people were, this is not the mindfulness of breathing, and this is not the foundation of mindfulness, right? Why? You see, when there's a pain sensation, he's not recognizing it's a pain sensation. Okay. Okay.
Attached to pain.
Yeah, it's attached to a certain thing.
Sensations.
Okay. And also that person was not able to recognize that actually the pain, even sometimes the pain comes. So some people feel that it's agreeable. Okay. Understand what I mean? Like, because he wanted the pain sensation to show that he's a good practitioner. So, and then the pain sensation becomes agreeable to that person. So I want to say actually it's also that will be lead someone actually not only just knowing the pain, but you also might be slowly move the person to understand not only this kind of sensation have impermanence, it's also there's a kind of feelings and so on, but you might be able to know that your mind actually play a great part in you find the painful sensation or the pleasure sensation or neutral sensation is something to do with agreeable to you or not agreeable to you. And actually, if you look at this Abhidhammakosa, I mean that's more like a Chinese text, but the so-called Hinayana text, but they have a huge discussion about all these agreeable sensation, disagreeable sensation, painful sensation, how they mingle together. That's the reason why those discussions were there, because there is a very deep study. Okay, are we? Oh, actually, time's out. Sorry about that. So I think the next time we have to be able to finish in the contemplation of the mind and then the 5 hindrances. Okay. Yeah, please go back and read that. Yeah. Next time, please remind me the time, because the time is always behind me. Sorry about. Okay. Doing the transfer marriage.
May the merits gained by listening to the Dhamma make our mind peaceful and calm, and make the others smile peaceful and calm around us.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Went to our teacher.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, thank you for coming.